Hi, this is Marina from Frocks Frolics, and today we're going to talk about sewing patterns. If you are a beginner sewer and you just got your sewing machine, the likely situation is you go into your fabric shop and you pick one of these patterns that I've got down here. They come in this little paper envelope and you just can go through loads of catalogs. You choose what you want to do and then you can get started. And in order to make a really good item with these patterns, there's a few things you need to know. We're going to look at them right now. One of the most important differences between a printable pattern from a PDF designer like myself and a commercial pattern such as Burda or Simplicity is that most of them still use the measurement charts that were used in the 50s. You know, when the ladies had that beautiful silhouette, those tiny little waists. And I'm going to show you exactly the difference in a minute between the manufacturing tables that I use, for example, as a PDF designer, and I'm sure all the other designers will use as well. The difference in those size charts and the size chart that you will get with one of these companies here, like Burda. Here we have the measurement chart for my little Burda Young here, and it goes US size 6 to 16 in this packet and European 32 to 42. Now, if you look here, if I look at the bust measurement, I'll do that first because that's the most striking. So here we've got the number 2 that we're looking for. So I'm going to go here and I can see centimeters 76 and 30 inches in bust, and that's for US 6. Now, if I look on my measurement chart, US 6 here, and I go over to the bust, my bust has 36 inches. That would be 93 centimeters. Now, if I go on to just go to the biggest one now, I'm going to go to the size 16. We've got 96 centimeters for a size 16, and I have got 116 centimeters. And then we've got the waist. The waist is number 3. So if I look at number 3, then we go over to size 16. There we are. So now at size 16, I've got a waist of 78 centimeters. And I have got a waist here of 95 centimeters. So the difference between 78 and 95 centimeters is 17 centimeters. So you can see how the difference in the measurement charts is astronomical between a pattern like this and a PDF pattern which is measured on today's measurement. Important to know because sometimes they're split into sizes, and if you get the small size, say, and it only goes up to 14 and then cuts off there, you would be better off, of course, getting the larger size because actually that's what's going to fit you. So there you have it. The difference is in effect 2 to 3 sizes. And that, my friends, is the biggest difference to the PDF patterns, which also come, I have to show off a little bit here, is with instructions that you don't get from a standard envelope pattern like this one. The instructions are much more detailed with photo guides. I've got like a ton of charts in there as well, so you can see everything close up, how it's done. And of course you get it for the lady stuff in AO as well. So you've got your pattern which you can print out on your printer, but you could also go to a shop and then print it out in AO. So they are very accessible patterns. So that was just ringing my own bell. Number 2, the second thing that is important to note is the measurements that you get on the back, which tell you exactly how much you need for each pattern. And that is always erring on the side of too much rather than too little. What you could actually do is go home, cut out your pattern and place it on your table, measure out how much the fabric is going to be like on the fold, and then check out how much you actually need. I would always recommend that for everything actually, you know, including mine. I mean, I give you the measurements, but what you can do is get your pattern prepared, know exactly how much you need, because they err on the side of rather too much than too little. Now, say you're making something that is a very expensive item, this is really worthwhile doing. You might find you have a half a meter left that you didn't need, and if the meterage is 25 euros or 25 pounds or $25, whatever it might be, that is a lot of money. Maybe not to some, but to me. So be aware of that. Now, some people will say, that's not fair now. I have a new look pattern and I made it and I loved it. This pattern here I've made, and I mean, hate doesn't quite describe it. I made it for somebody else. It didn't turn out. This part here didn't look anything like the picture, and so that was very, very disappointing. Maybe the other options, like the plain one, would have come out all right. But from experience, I've done a few new look patterns, unless they're very, very simple. This is not my favorite company. This pattern here from McCall's, I haven't tried. I have tried other McCall's patterns and they've been okay. The one that I'm most happy with are the Burda patterns overall and the Vogue patterns. So Vogue patterns, absolutely super. Just a general comment on all the magazine ones like Burda and Ottobre. You do not get the seam allowance included in your patterns. When you're learning how to sew, simple stuff like this can be a really good lead-in, especially if you don't have $100 to spend on, say, 10 different patterns from different designers and stuff. Overall, I would say for magazines, if you're making something for yourself, I would certainly choose Burda style. That's really, really good. But if you're making clothes for your children, then Ottobre is a very, very good choice. And because it is, I want to show you how it works when you get one of those magazines. We're going to do one of those patterns together. I have ordered mine, and the link for those magazines is in the description, so you can go on ottobre.com and get your magazine. I've got the Celebration magazine here, and it's full of goodies for the winter. And what a lot of you will really like, there's a lot of boys stuff in there, which I don't really do very much either. So I'm quite excited to just go get in there, get one of those patterns out and make something with you. And I'm excited to introduce you to sewing with pattern magazines, which is actually really cheap and it works quite well. It's a bit work intense, but we shall do it together. And you have so much to choose from. And like I said, it's only like just over 12 euros. What can possibly go wrong? So choose one of those. Let me know in the comments what you would like to make, and I'll see you next week where we're going to learn how to work with a pattern magazine. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you next week. Bye.